Hello, everybody. 11:11. We're
Eastern time.
Eastern time, yeah. We're coming to you today with a special conversation about September 21st, which is coming up, which is International Day of Peace. And we have a special guest on today. It's our dear friend Cashmere. He's he's so many things, but among other things, he's an amazing breathwork coach. He's been guiding Sauna Space's monthly breathwork sessions. We do a monthly breathwork for the whole company around the new moon, and
Full moon.
excuse me, the full moon. And we've been doing this for a number of months now, and it's been
Since the beginning of the year.
yeah, it's been really just phenomenal to bring this in, and this has actually been one of a number of things that we've started doing since we've had Mila on board as Chief Wellness Officer, in really taking charge and being more proactive in promoting wellness amongst all the team members of the company. So if you hang on a sec, I'm going to get Cash on. Let's see, let me just invite him.
This is breathe. It starts with breathe.
Breathe.
Right
There he is.
Invite.
You accept that. And yeah, wow, he's so on point and on time. Can you hear us, Cashmere?
I can hear you.
Amazing. Thank you for joining us. That's not a fake background, is it? Is that real?
This is the real thing. We're in
Wow. Where are you
we're in
coming
the
from?
paradise energy.
Right from
Yes,
paradise.
we are. And we had the privilege of meeting you in paradise earlier this year.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
what
tell
a
us a little
gift it
bit about
was.
it. What is that, the ocean behind you or the pool or what?
It's both. It's both of our favorite spots. We're, even with our itinerary, this ended up being the place where it's like, you know what? Let's maybe skip this and just be here and enjoy the vibration. One of the many beautiful, expansive waves of kinetic energy that we all get to experience.
Yeah, there's a
And
lot of love vibrating there in Playa now. It was really wonderful. Yeah, man. Important day coming up. We wanted to get you on here to talk all about it. So, International Day of Peace is September 21st, and my brother Kashmir here is leading a really cool breathwork session as a part of aligning all of our hearts and being in a rhythm and a frequency of love. We all know, and I remember one of the first time we talked, Kashmir. You mentioned this, that, and I've also seen from the Heart Math Institute another study, but this idea that a certain critical mass of people who sit in meditation and hold an intention of love and an intention of peace, and it actually is measurable and recordable, the influence on like lowering hospitalizations, lowering like crimes of violence and so forth. So let's dive into it. Tell us
Well, but actually, I'm going to interject here before we dive into it. I thought that we could actually get just a little bit of a taste of what that is. If you could help lead us in this moment for everyone who's tuning in, maybe they're watching live or they're watching the recorded video, for us to just take a moment, so not super extended, but maybe a minute or two for us to get grounded in this space before we dive into all of the exciting things we're going to talk about.
a lovely idea.
yeah, well, absolutely. And the kinetic breathwork experience that will be shared on Sunday goes through a few different phases. There's more of the traditional meditation practice and the intention setting in the beginning. There's the active breath, and then we close with a rest and receive and integration practice at the end once we're complete with the active breath. And to tap into one of the energies, as you're requesting, we'll dive into just a simple parasympathetic breath right now. So I invite anyone who's tuning in to simply close our eyes. and to continue or begin receiving breath in and out through the nose. And to allow ourselves to feel how the body responds to breath when we bring awareness to it. We allow ourselves to witness how much of our physical experience can be filled with this invisible force, this life force, this prana. May we feel how it extends not just through this central channel in our torsos, but extends all the way with its energy to our fingers and our toes and the tops of our heads. May we feel the space to be a loving witness of our experience. Space where we don't feel like we need to react. And in this space where we get to create from an infinite field of possibilities. As each of us is simply an awareness, a piece of a total consciousness that is the human experience. That is the world, a collective thought that exists in the universe. And in this universal experience, in this life experience, in this human experience, may we allow ourselves to simply feel in this moment. This is simply one part of what we came here to do on this earth. And it is so important that we allow ourselves to simply be. To simply feel. And now I invite us to begin to land together, reconnect to all of our senses, and to open our eyes to a life that we've all created together.
Thank you. It was a nice shift.
Aho.
So just as we exemplified in that moment, that at any point we can shift the energy. And what we're talking about is extremely exciting. And I love all the love that we're getting in the comments. But how do we apply what we're going to be talking about in real time? and we just did it. So we're going to continue with this dialogue, diving into ways that we can tap into expanding more peace within ourselves and really elevating the consciousness of the world by starting with ourselves. That's ultimately where it starts, and it becomes beautifully infectious. And there are a lot of places that we want to take this conversation. We're going to allow creative flow to guide us, but we definitely want to speak to the International Day of Peace, which is next Sunday, as Brian had stated, the 21st. Would love for everyone to be a part of the breath work that's happening with Cashmere, and we'll make sure that we send out details via email after this live. We'll send that out if you're a part of our emailing list. And then I also was inspired on that day to invite people later in the evening to a moment of prayer and meditation for anyone who wants to join. So I will share details later on about that. But yeah, so let's talk about the International Day of Peace. Let's talk about what this means. It's more than just a day. And also I want to give Kashmir honor in this moment. That there's a reason why we brought him on, is because I believe that Kashmir is embodying this peace wherever he goes in every moment. And it truly is infectious, and it's something that it shifts the atmosphere when he walks in and people feel it. So I'm really excited for us to have his energy here and speaking about all of these things, especially during a time which it feels so timely. There's a lot, I mean, throughout life, there's all different types of things we encounter. But the collective, at least for me, I was feeling a lot of collective heaviness over the last week for a multitude of reasons that don't need to be recounted at this time. And I felt really impressed in my spirit that we need to remember who we are, and that amidst any darkness or heaviness that we feel, that we are light. So how do we remember that? And so thank you, gentlemen, for joining and for having me.
Thank you, Mina.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
both.
Kashmir, you've been focused on International Day of Peace for quite a while. So tell us, like, what drew you to it? What's it all about?
Yes. So when I began the breathwork journey, as in the mindful journey and the creation journey with meditation, I simply wanted to practice for me. It opened my eyes. It really, I don't understand another way to explain it other than it saved my life. Like, it truly, like, being able to use, and how I came into the language of even creating what kinetic breathwork is like a tool that allowed me to peel through all these layers of conditioning that had built up in what my identity it had been, to access the energy of peace, and not to have it not just be a word, and to access the energy of love and have it not just be a word. And like, what is the power in that energy, and how can I live in that space? And in that journey, on that path, I was introduced to the International Day of Peace through an invitation in Los Angeles, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, this feels like a synchronicity. I wanna participate. I'm gonna see what this is about. And when I learned more about it and how, I mean, everyone can think what they want to think about government organizations and politics, but the United Nations at least is putting it out there that there's a day to practice peace, and in honor of that, they've invited all the countries that participate in the United Nations to cease fire, to practice nonviolence. And so it was this first call of like, what happens when more of us decide to practice consciousness, practice being within ourselves, practice connecting with this world that's so much bigger than this area that we're taking up in our physical bodies. And over the years, and it's a lifelong journey. I haven't been in a rush to expand it, but it feels like it's expanding faster and faster, and the conversation is becoming more and more prevalent as we are through these digital platforms. We're all connected, and on a Zoom call or on live screens, like we celebrate New Year's across the planet, and the celebrations are on screen and on TV, and all these people are connected, and that's great. Let's celebrate the new year. And what about gathering that many people for a peaceful practice? What about Zoom opening their channels so that every person, even if it's for 5 minutes, can sit in silence and focus on their breath? Or maybe you're not even focusing on your breath, just sit within yourself, sit inside of your body, sit in the energy that you've cultivated up to that moment, and know that whatever we choose from that point forward can be our reality more and more. And does that mean that the International Day of Peace solves all conflict and no one feels pain or suffering or victimization or guilt or shame or fear or anger? Absolutely not. It's about allowing people to understand that those are just as temporary as frequencies that we are all aware of, and to allow ourselves and give ourselves a platform so that we can feel it. And breathwork, I think, is so powerful in that it digs into that subconscious programming. And sometimes we've had it in our sessions with sauna space where some people come out, oh, I'm dancing and it's all love and light and beauty, and some people are like, I just felt pain. Like, okay, well, you know what? Do you feel pain now? Maybe not. And that was temporary. And in that hour time, you got to transmute an energy. And like, what a lesson when we sit with that in the integration portion of kinetic breath work or a holotropic breath work style. Like any of these practices, like, okay, it's all just temporary, and let's give ourselves permission to feel it. Let's give ourselves a safe space. Let's allow people to see us. And Mila, you've been such a radiant example of vulnerability in the sessions that we've had. And that's what I'm so excited for in Sunday's session. It's like, we're here for it all. We're not just here for the fluffy woo woo. Like, I understand that people are dying in this moment because of violence. I understand that they're placed under attack. We're not ignoring that. We're facing it fully. See it, look at it, let it move through you. Do not hold. It's the holding of the energy that is the poison. That is the toxicity that is continuing to manifest. And when we continue to block ourselves from the idea that we're not going to experience these things in this world, and we still have the opportunity, everyone gets to choose from every moment how we want to show up. Do we want to show up and be a part of the building of a utopia that the earth experience can be? Or do we want to perpetuate the conflict, the fear, the violence, the hate? Make the choice. Let's make the choice. And there's so many people this Sunday, this week, that are making the choice, and it's only going to grow from here. So those that are holding on and utilizing the anger and the fear and the hate as your energy, it's going to be temporary one way or the other, because you're going to be overwhelmed with forces of love, like you guys, like the tools that you offer the world. We're going to detoxify the planet one experience at a time. And if that's what I get to do the rest of this life experience, so be it. I am here for it. I'm showing up for it. So may we all learn to speak our truths. May we all feel safe to feel every feeling and experience that comes up, and radiate through that. Let the love and let the peace shine through.
Beautiful, brother. Yeah, it reminds me of a phrase I've really started to appreciate recently, that love and joy create and fear and doubt uncreate. And as simple as that may sound, it's profound when you're doing one, if you're not doing one, you're kind of doing the other. But we can just sit in love and joy and create and actually recreate and recreate and recreate. And that's a choice that we can actually have in life. And when we sit in that proactive state of, hey, let's create something, let's do something that's uplifting and increasing of the frequency of ourselves and people around us. Yes, there's a rhythm to life where there are points of energetic density where we face something challenging, some conditioning that we have, or we have a friend or a loved one that's going through something. But when we're in that state of love and joy, we can be really helpful. You walk into the room. That's what Mila mentioned. That's so beautiful about you, brothers. You're a thermostat. When you walk into the room, it doesn't matter what's going on around. Cashmere is beaming this light and this joy, holding this frequency and saying, this is where I choose to be. And yes, I will confront challenges, dense emotions. Some feelings may come up, fear and doubt. But then I remind myself, hey, I'm here to love. I'm here to be in a place of joy and be a shining light and help lift people. And it doesn't really matter, I don't have any attachment to that. It's a state of non-attachment where you flow through life and you encounter challenges, you encounter things, but you always come back to, how can I create? How can I create more? And so let's kind of like come out of the clouds now and come to earth maybe and ground a little bit. And let's talk about, how do we do that? How do we increase our frequency? How do we get to this frequency of love and joy, this state of being that you just referred to?
Well, if I may interject, I would like to add to what you were saying, which I feel like flows into where we're going. And I loved how both of you acknowledged like that we're not just, oh, we're putting our blinders on. That's not what peace is. It is something that you radiate, it's something that you choose. And also, as you experience dense emotions, as you go through things that feel unsettling, it's choosing not to identify with what you referred to, Cashmere, as the poison. It is the, what did you say, creation and uncreation? Is that how you said it? It's not identifying with the uncreation. It's identifying with what creates, what builds, what creates cohesion, not what breaks apart and causes division. And I think that a lot of people are in the illusion of their identity being in a certain lower density of hatred, of fear, and holding on so tightly and forgetting that they are the light. And once they remember that, and the tools that we'll talk about on how we actually get there, how do we create a more beautiful reality, how do we get centered into a space of peace, one of them being the light. That's why we're in, people could think, okay, we're just in business. Yes, we are in business. It is fun. And we have a mission that's bigger than that. And what I think sets Sauna Space apart is that we are literally bringing the light to people, light that mimics what we recognize in nature. And that is the same light that flows within all of us. And when we get in front of this light, when we have this light around us, it's a subconscious or conscious reminder, I am this. And all of my cells, when I get into the sauna, are bathed in this light to remember what they are, who they are. It's this beautiful energy. It's the energy of God. It's the energy of creation. It's the energy of the universe that flows within each of us. And that's really what we are meant to do, is to create. And so what is it that we are creating with our mouths? Power of life and death is in the tongue. So what are you speaking? What are you alchemizing by what you're saying? And what usually is a reflection of what is being spoken is what is being internalized. So I'd like to step into that about how can we shift what we're internalizing and then choose more light. How do we choose more light in our life? And so that we can shift that reality of what we're seeing based on what we're speaking, which can often stem from what it is that we're believing through the inputs that we're consuming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the tools, and I'd love to start with like a slight course correction too. It's like as people tune into a channel of what you referred to as a business, like I've shifted even the language with what we're all up to and how we create our way of life. It is through service. What you're offering, the sauna space lights, is a service. You call it a business because it generates resources that sustain your energies, your powers, your lives, that allow you to perpetuate these messages, allow you to radiate your energy. And what are finances anyways, if not energy that we receive and share and invest? And so that, like you said, the language we use, vibration, that's a part of one of the ways, one of the waves in the way of living that we share out in the world, that this kinetic energy way of living. And these are the spells we cast. These are the invocations for how we are living our life experience. And it's okay. I find myself constantly, I'll share something out loud, like the subconscious will speak something, and I'll repeat it multiple times out loud until I feel like, nope, that wasn't true. Nope, that wasn't true. This is like that, what I just shared is divine truth. And it could be a simple interaction with somebody like, how are you feeling today? How am I feeling? Creation, God, source, universe. That's how. Like, what am I feeling? Is that what you're asking? Okay, well, like, oh, I'm feeling happy, or I'm feeling fulfilled and overwhelmed, or I'm feeling frustrated. Saturday was the day where I got to express that exact, like this exact sentiment, feeling okay, expressing the truth and not projecting it out as something that someone's doing to me. I'm not a victim of what you say or what you do. I own creating my reality. And if violence is in my reality, then okay, where am I being violent with myself? Where am I being violent with my partner? And it's not like physical violence. Language is one of the most underestimated violent tools being used across the globe, from the dogma in certain religions to just judgment of each other, and thinking that, oh, that person did this, so they are that, and identifying anyone as something other than love or the product of their environment that has just continued to try to put this label on them. Is that is not the way. That is not alignment. So can we, as we speak our truth, as we speak to the feelings we experience, can we internalize it and say, I created this moment. What did I create this moment for? And if it's a moment that keeps showing up in your life over and over again, guess what? You haven't learned the lesson. So maybe that's it. Or maybe it's to show you, okay, you're going to be put out of your center, out of your heart center for a moment. How quickly can you calibrate into it? And that's where mindfulness and breath work and being able to sit in the I love sitting in the super sauna just to witness like where my energy wants to move. Like it's almost like it's like the detoxification is just lifting energies up in me, and all sorts of thoughts come up, and I get to go through the practice of, oh, I am not that thought, that is not me. Fascinating that it's coming through. I wonder where that's coming from. And maybe later in the day someone will share that exact label of the emotion that I'm feeling, and I'm like, that was coming from across the town I'm in. Like, these are these are the lessons that are available. And yes, you don't have to hold it. And when you do sit and allow yourself to process, or you have a sacred space to process and move through and allow your emotions to balance, allow your cognition to rewire, then you show up as more of this radiant, loving light that each of us is, right? So this is the process. Trust the process, live in the process, respect that. Like, none of us has to be here at any given moment. We're all choosing to live in this moment right now. And if something happens physically in our world, this is super hard for people to swallow. And I feel emotional because I don't even understand the courage that it takes some of the souls that are coming into the world that are teaching us these lessons. But can we honor and respect those that are on the other end of violence? Like, that's what their soul chose to come to do. And uh, so be it. So what do we want to receive from that? How do we want to contribute and show up knowing that, like, okay, well, I'm today, my soul is choosing to recognize that and say, I mean, and I'm going to use violent language right now. I don't even want to say the words, but just know that I'm feeling an intense passion for, like, no, I refuse to allow those energies to live longer than they have to. If there's something I can do, even if it's sitting in silence and letting somebody just lean into whatever they're feeling about themselves or about me or about the experience I'm sharing, like, okay, like, this needed to happen. This is what my soul chose in this moment. And now I'm going to transmute this to serve some higher good, to serve a higher expression than what is currently happening.
Yeah, it's so beautiful, and so many of the things that you've touched upon are so resonant. Like, we are not a reflection of the universe. The universe and our reality is actually a reflection of us. And there's, like, in some people refer to this tetrahedron of healing, where there's the mental body, the emotional body, the physical body, and then the spiritual body is the fourth apex of the tetrahedron. And all of these things influence our who we are and how we're showing up in a given moment. And when you're sitting, you know, in every moment that you're being, know that it's not something happening to you. It's a part of a divine plan. And there's always this sacredness in each moment. If you start to pay attention and start to be really present, that every moment is this opportunity. Sometimes it's listening to someone else. Sometimes, you're in the sauna and you're like, wow, I'm feeling this feeling that is really uncomfortable. And if you honor that and let that flow, know that that's there to, like, inform you of something. If you have a pattern, like you said, this pattern of this thing that keeps coming up, that keeps slapping you in the face in life, that's not there to frustrate you. That's actually there to teach you something about yourself, either the way you were or the way you're developing. And so in all of these things, we get to create the reality that we step into. And when we walk in life and we get on social media and there's, like, some really heavy hate being expressed, there's also a reason for that. And maybe that person, they have a soul contract, or there's a pattern, that they're working through, that they're trying to figure out. But know that that's their reality, that's not yours. And that can even be a lesson for you to say, hey, yeah, I don't like that vibration. I'm going to show up with love. I'm going to double down on the love and the joy, and show up even more powerfully in that way, even as maybe it's uncomfortable to do so if I'm the only one doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, one of the things that came to mind when you're speaking about that is what I like to ask myself in any given moment is, what is this moment teaching me? And even more than that, what is it teaching me? Okay, so that's for me, but what is it inspiring within me to then create? So just because I have a dense feeling, do I have to perpetuate that dense feeling outward? May I utilize that, because there are very strong emotions and there are ways to express that in a way that can be used for good, for the light. I brought this example up in our conversation earlier last week, Cashmere, that a lot of times out of the most dense situations that I've been through in my life were the times that the most beautiful pieces of art were expressed, whether I was drawing or painting or writing or singing. And it's a way to alchemize, to transmute that energy. And also, again, it's remembering what is our essence, that we're not created to have a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. So how can we get into that true authentic essence? And you ask yourself, okay, what is there in this situation for me to learn? What is this teaching me? And how is it inspiring me to create something that maybe needs to be different? And I think it's a fascinating thing to contemplate, because nobody wants to feel these bad things. Nobody wants, I would say that that's pretty safe to say that most people don't want to feel hurt, and they don't want to live feeling, victimized and all of these really dense emotions. But what is it there to teach you? And we were talking about this in our group yesterday with my family. Some of the most beautiful people have been forged out of the most intense fires. And because of those experiences, it gives me chills. They've been inspired to shift and create and shift the reality around them and make a more positive impact. So things like the things that they'd experienced early in life aren't perpetuated.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we each have a choice in that, of what are we going to create. And I'd like for each of us to get out of the abstract, somewhat, and speak a little bit more personally. Like some things we already spoke about. Cashmere, he's the thermostat, and I think that's really key too. The thermostat, I love talking about that, instead of being the thermometer, where you walk in and you just absorb all of the energies and then you become accumulation of what it is that you're walking into. But instead you create what you want to create within yourself, and you say, no matter what's coming at me, to the best of my ability, have grace for the moments when you misspeak or you misstep, but that you're going to choose how you're going to show up in that moment. But a few things that we do, on a weekly basis. One thing that I think is super powerful, and is making a grander impact than we even realize, is my family, on the Robinson side. Every Sunday we get together and we have open dialogue about diving into truth. Sometimes we're referencing text, but it's really about showing up and being willing to be vulnerable and share what's going on with us, and then have this open dialogue that we can disagree, and we're gonna sit with that and allow space for that. And really what it's done with my family is just created a stronger bond, and and even more compassion, within our family. And so, from starting with the self, finding that area of, okay, now how can we spread this? And then there are ripple effects. They're they're bigger than we realize. What we choose to do individually, and then what we choose to do collectively in smaller groups, has a very, very big impact on our reality, what we're seeing in the world.
A
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah. The the most influential moment of my day is when I wake up in the morning and I choose what I'm doing in the first hours of the day, the first moments of the day, to really set the tone for the rest of the day. So I don't touch my phone, not to check the time, and definitely not to check up on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you wake up, your brain's in more of an alpha state, more in an alpha theta state, where you're more in a state of being, more in a state of oneness. And you can extend that for quite a long time if you don't immediately start doing something. So I don't go to the phone, I don't do any of that. I usually get up and have a glass of lemon water with electrolytes, charge it in my quantum charger. And then I like to, when I have time in the morning, waking up early and going to the beach and still not on my phone or anything and connecting with myself, connecting with nature, connecting with the divine in my own way. And in some days it's different. This morning I was dancing on the beach. I hadn't done that in a while, and I just
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about the dancing?
yeah. Well, there's the most magical man in Cocoa Beach is this gentleman named Paul, who Mila and I found on the beach one day. We were sitting there on the beach, and this dude starts walking by with a stick and headphones, and he's got a walking stick and a backpack, and he's got a swimsuit on. And he sets his backpack down and plants his stick and then kind of gets his music going. And then he grabs his stick and he starts dancing with the stick. And he starts dancing on the beach, and then he's dancing in the ocean, in the water.
For like 45 minutes straight.
And he's dancing for like 45 minutes straight. And we both said, wow, very interesting. Like, this is an example of a thermostat. This guy's out here by himself. And then, and I think you said, we're gonna meet that guy.
Well, let's back up a little before, because I want you to share what's happened more recently. But actually, before we moved down here to Cocoa Beach, Brian's boys, my bonus boys, lived down here. And so we would come and visit them here, and we'd get an Airbnb and we'd visit the beach. And we had seen Paul, the dancing stick guy, as formerly known as the dancing stick guy, out on the beach even during our visits. And even we had some of my family come and visit us in different times, and just, But what's beautiful about it is the observation that a lot of other people are just going about their day. They're not even affected by it. And some people are kind of looking at him as they're walking by or biking by. And some people, pull out their phones. And within my family, we all were just very curious. And I thought what my brother said yesterday was really beautiful. We can dive into how we got to that point. But my brother said, a long time ago, I would have been looking at something like that and thinking, what does this guy know? Like, what is this guy? He needs to get a clue. And now when he sees something like that, he goes, what does this person know that I don't know?
Yeah, it's stepping out of judgment and saying, okay, that guy's doing that, but yada yada yada, instead of saying, okay, that guy is dancing on the beach, and that's interesting, and I'm curious, and that's really cool. Instead of contrasting and creating separation, being open to connection. So we connected with him one day, and turns out he's a really cool guy and has a beautiful story. It's probably a bit too much to unpack here, but suffice it to say that he's out there because he loves to dance and he loves to connect with the nature and with the creator, and that's his choice of how he does that. And he's a beautiful, amazing person. He's in this example of someone who's looked within and they found something that inspires them in a way that sets their tone and sets their frequency for the day. And then, and that's what's working for him. And everyone has to find that thing for themselves. And it's always unique. But for me, today I got into that same frequency. I was like at the beach and I saw him dancing, and then this song came on from Stick Figure, this song called Paradise. It's just like this amazing song, right?
It's our wedding song.
Yeah, we played it at the wedding, right. And yeah, I was just called to stand up and start dancing, so I did so, and I was just, I was really feeling a frequency of love and joy, and it's really something that is you know, once you're in there, once you feel it, it's so beautiful to perpetuate and stay in that. And it's something that it may be uncomfortable or weird for some people, but hey, you know, who cares? Like, it's what makes you feel good. It's what puts you in that active choosing of love and joy.
Well, and the thing about Paul that was so fascinating for me is he became my bright spot in my day at the beach. I'd be looking for him. You know, before I knew him, I'm like, where's my guy? Where's my dancing stick guy? And when I'd locate him, when he'd come by, I would say, oh, we know it's gonna be a great day. Dancing stick guy is out there dancing, doing his thing. And it became this beautiful thing that whenever when I'd see him, I'd capture him, I'd share it with my little family group chat in a way that's celebrating him. It's not in a way that's degrading at all, but really actually celebrating and being inspired. And my family's like, you really need to get out there. And I said, I'm gonna meet him. And I was particularly inspired shortly after we went through our own little dark spot. I don't even want to call it that because we saw it as we saw the beauty even in the darkness, and we felt really, really held. But after the pregnancy loss that we went through recently, I felt even more inspired to lift up and do what I can to radiate the light. And I would see Paul, I'd see the dancing stick guy and say, that guy, what he's doing, more if we all were doing that, not necessarily dancing the same way, but expressing ourselves authentically in beauty. What a beautiful world. So I went up to him, I said, hey, I am so inspired by you. And he was really caught off guard by that. But then we kind of then after I introduced myself, he started coming up and approaching us and saying hello. And then he came by last week and he said, you know, I'd really love to make you guys dinner.
Yeah.
He said, do you like to cook? Do you like food? He asked if we were vegan. He said, because you look vegan. I said, when we're cleansing, we are.
Yeah. So here, so it's just this beautiful story of connection when one is open to connection
And a chain reaction.
and a chain reaction. Yeah. If you go into an expectation, or if you hold an expectation of judgment, of, hey, that's too weird. What could this person possibly offer me? You know, instead of, hey, I'm curious, I'm interested, you'll find more often than not that the other side, the other person, is just super hungry for connection, and that that's an example of the universe reflecting back to you what you put out, being open to connection, open to love and interaction. That's like a loving interaction, and boom, it comes. The universe provides.
Yeah, and what Paul had said that was so beautiful to me when I asked him, I said, what exactly inspires you to get out here and do this? And he said, I have an audience of one. He said, I'm out here, and he has a deeper story about this, that he goes out there every morning and he thanks his creator, is what he says. He thanks his creator, and he's seeing and all this beauty of the creation that he is a part of. He said, this organism that I have, and I move in a way that feels resonant with me, that it feels authentic to me. And I just thought, wow, how inspiring. And how many other people, if they'd stopped and been curious in the last however many years he's been doing that, how could they been positively impacted as well? So it's really, really beautiful. And yeah, and so it just goes to show, even though he's going out there every morning dancing by himself, I went out there this morning. He handed me his stick, his baton, and I felt honored. I've been bestowed this really special thing, and then I walked over to the beach where Brian was, and he was also dancing. It's like, wow, amazing to just feel free, the freedom, self-conscious. What's everybody going to think about this? It's just actually being really, really present with now. And I think that's what we're getting to in this conversation is being very, very present with now. You think when the world feels more than you can handle and you get all this input from the news, from social media, from your neighbor, from the family, whatever it is that whatever input that's coming your way, it can feel overwhelming. And how do I make a difference? How do I make a difference? How do I choose to move differently now? What's my highest expression right now? That's what it is, and do that. And for each person it's different, so I can't necessarily say for everyone it might not be dancing, it may be singing, it may be it's your gift. And what you said, Cashmere, was resonant, calling it service. That is your gift. You've been given this gift, and now go give it to others. The gift that you've been given to create this power, this beauty that it's this infinite ability to create in whatever way that resonates with you. Now you go out and you give that. If it's even just a smile, and some people underestimate, oh, I don't want to smile. I don't like my teeth. Watch when you smile at someone, when you consciously make eye contact and you smile at someone, and then do it again and do it again, and just see how things shift and how they feel different. Or whenever you think something nice, I've been such a big supporter of this. When you think something nice, don't hold it back. It may feel weird. People feel weird sometimes sharing things. And I never got that. For me, it comes very naturally to me. But when you see something that you like, Cashmere, your eyes are absolutely gorgeous. They're hypnotizing. Your hair is herring. It's so fluffy. And then look at that. Like, we just invited laughter into the moment, and we shifted it. So it's simple as that. You're creating light.
Yeah, and so let's bring it in the pursuit of finding your gifts, and then in a sort of state of being of service, offering them and creating and uplifting others. Sometimes the first step in that is to go inward and discover those gifts, and to find yourself. And detoxification, using the sauna is really important for that, because we need to clear out the things that are inside of us that don't belong physically and also emotionally. Like you mentioned, many people report that, myself included. So many people, like, you have emotional unlocks that occur and emotional clearings that occur as you detoxify physically. And the sauna is one of the most amazing things. And we're all beings of light, and we all breathe. And so, yes, some people dance, some people sing, everybody has different tools. One of the fundamentals that everybody has available to them, and it's free, is the breath.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's wrap up and come back to the breath and back to the International Day of Peace. So breath for me is energy. Why do we breathe? Physiologically, it's to take in oxygen. Why do we use oxygen? It's to create energy. So we're breathing in energy, we're breathing in life. And we have a lot of power in it, not just to keep us from passing out, but actually when we get intentional and present with our breath, we can transform ourselves physically, emotionally, and mentally. So please tell us about this so amazing, invaluable divine tool that also is free and we all already have. And what are the possibilities of it? What can we do with it?
Yes. So, I mean, it is the thing. Some may think we don't get to choose our thoughts and our feelings and emotions, and we do. And breath is one of those things that it's like, okay, I'm breathing to it's giving me life, but can I choose it? Yeah. In every moment, if there's ever if you're ever looking for personal development work or a free lesson in every moment, be aware of your breath.
Mm.
No one's going to charge you for that. And that that's always available to us. And it unlocks, and we have these systems in our physical body that it helps us tap into, like our nervous system that holds, and our ego, like they hold so much energy from our life experience that if you want to access all of it, simply allow yourself to receive breath to give you this guide through what your experience has been, so that you can also free yourself simultaneously into whatever the present moment is offering and whatever you want to create. And when you connect breath with intention, and I also want to applaud the synchronicity of like the parable you shared about Paul, the dancing sick guy, and some of the work that's influenced me in sharing this, like not only Jason Amoroso and Dr. Maura Moynihan for the first breathwork facilitator training I had, and teaching like, and I wanted, here's the other funny thing, like I wanted concrete answers of like, wow, why is this as powerful as it is? And I actually think I left the facilitator trainings more confused. I'm like, what? Like there's no like anything can happen basically in this experience, and like you just surrender to what that is and you sit with it and you contemplate it and you're like, yeah, pretty much. You're like, okay, cool. And the awe, there's awe and wonder in that, and seeing Paul, and I'm connecting there's all this is interwoven, where like the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza and how he influences this is when you set an intention in the beginning of kinetic breath work, or in the beginning of breathwork practices or manifestation and mindful practices, there's these levels of consciousness we can access. And when I hear the story of Paul, it's like, okay, there's the awe and wonder. These are elevated emotions.
Mm.
There's the gratitude for getting to experience awe and wonder simply by witnessing a being. There's the sharing of
Mm.
appreciation by sharing what you witness and saying, yes, like keep going. I love what you're doing more. There's the joy of two people being like, wow, what an experience this is. There's the love that's radiating out through all the beings that are now connected to this being, Paul, and this experience, and to the nature around. There's the freedom from judgment of self or another that is
Mm.
available, that allows all of you to come together in even deeper connection, to nourish together.
Mhm.
And there's the bliss of knowing that, like, is it this simple to create power through love? And then the
Mm.
wholeness, like, I appreciate that this part of my life, this being that is a part of my whole, he is a part of your whole, and you recognize that. You can see him as, you know what? I don't dance on the beach every day, but he's dancing on the beach every day. So that's, I can appreciate that. Why can I appreciate that? Because he is me. He is a part of me. And I want to be more of me. So I'm going to join you in your expressions of joy, love, and freedom. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden, look where you land, from a moment in time, a moment, a witnessing, a sense. You got a sense. You got to see what this was. Then you got to feel what it was. And these are also things that we work through in practices like breath work. What is the favorite color that you want to connect to? What is the favorite texture? What is your favorite food? What is your favorite sound? Like the ocean in the background right now, like just being up through every wave of my body. It's my absolute favorite sound in the world, to know that these waves of energy are meeting us in this conversation. They're moving through me as vibration in this communication that you get to receive. Like all of it is connected, and it's the beauty of two together in this grand spiral up. Like the logo of Sauna Space is this infinity symbol. I am the eighth child, the infinite in my family. There are 8 waves of the kinetic energy way of living through community, breath, mindfulness, nourishment, movement, recovery, vibration, and service. Like, how can you question a greater power? And I take credit for none of it. It is all divine synchronicity. We are a thought in infinite space that's leading to this exact moment that we all get to appreciate. or maybe someone doesn't appreciate it. All good. You know what? I'm still gonna give you a hug. I'll probably kiss you on the cheek. What, like, whatever it takes to keep
Yes, you
showing up.
will.
And it's so beautiful, and even if folks don't follow along with all the cues and the guidance and what's available in a practice like kinetic breathwork, or what's available in sitting with a firelight while you're reading, or in the sauna to detox, it's okay. Like, I'm gonna keep inviting and sharing. No one can tell me who I can invite and share. Oop, lost the mic.
That was a mic
um
drop.
Mike. No one. And no one can tell me how to love and who to love. Like, these are part of the choices, and I'm choosing those emotions. So may we all feel that freedom and come into a practice. Come sit, like, tune in online. Just has anybody been a part of a global experience where probably on this day, through Calm and Headspace and all, like, Othership and all the platforms that are sharing and all the people that are aware of how to share peaceful conscious practice, have you ever been aware and, like, intentional in the fact that, like, oh, I'm practicing something with hundreds of millions of people, and if we get to 800 million people, to come back to a point we made earlier, it's like, you can, from the Heart Math Institute's information and from the studies on the Maharishi effect, you actually shift all of consciousness from just 1% of the world's population. And is it a synchronicity that there's the infinity symbol, the eighth child, the 8 waves of kinetic energy, the 8 billion people on this planet, the 8 billion thoughts that show up and are manifested in these physical forms? Absolutely not. We're all here to remember together, remember, reconnect versus dismember, disassociate. It's all a part of the reconnecting with ourselves so that we can connect with our partners, with our family. And guess what? If you are in peaceful relationship and loving relationship with yourself, your spouse, and your family, and everyone accepted that responsibility, that is also an epic way to arrive into a utopian world, or a world at peace. Like, so you don't need to go and save the world. Love your wife, love your child, love your parents, forgive everyone so you can be present in the blessing of whatever it has been created that is available to you in this moment. The palm trees, the ocean, connection with soul family. It's all here. It's so full and it's so rich. And I invite anybody who doesn't have access to these emotions, these feelings, whether you get to attend on Sunday or not, message me, connect with me. I am open. I see you. I want to see you. I want to love you. I want you to understand how you can love yourself. And this is the service that I am in this world. And, well, if I was homeless, great. It doesn't change any of the things that I get to choose in terms of the emotions, the energy that I want to show up in. So I love you both. I love the entire planet. I love this life. And I want everyone to remember that you can access this love for your life. A love for life is what permeates and radiates and will allow us to access things that you may not even believe in yet or be aware of yet, but they are on their way with the trust and the faith that simply putting in the consciousness and the presence in each moment will present you the opportunity to do all of these things.
Beautiful, brother. That was a seed of a flow state that you just planted.
That was the real mic drop.
So, so then tell us, man, how do we connect with you? How do we connect
I
with you September 21st on the International Day of Peace? And before and after, how do we connect with you?
Yes. So Instagram's a great way. I got my WhatsApp on IG. I'm fleshing out just different access points through union.fit, which is where the International Day of Peace is being held. We're in Playa now. This, the, wow, I'm feeling emotional. The importance of finding this place in Central America, in kind of the middle of nowhere Earth, 5 hours from a city. I never understood what, like, what heaven was. Like I was guessing, and I like was lost in fear for a lot of my life, not understanding what that was.
Mm.
And I sit here in this place that I know is the embodiment of that for me, what I've called in. It may not be that for everybody, but I know that's the energy radiating out from me. That awareness that it exists, that it is here. And heaven is everywhere that you are present with yourself. And this is the ultimate place. If you want to go out of your, like, I never heard of Panama 10 days before my first trip here. I had never heard the word Panama spoken in my life. 3 days into the trip here, I had decided to move my life here. Like, if you are interested in experiencing something new or going through the deepest remembering of what you love in life, you are invited to join us here to visit. We will host you, we will feed you, we will share what we're up to in our wellness center here. It's about connection with ourselves and with humanity. And I'm also going to be traveling with you guys at times, and I would love to connect with any of the tribe that is tuning in through the different events that we're at. And yeah, through Zoom calls, through Zoom connection, we're going to be creating a school of life here. And that that anyone who wants to participate in shifting the paradigm and how things are done, like, you, you get to learn how to milk a goat if you want. Okay, people, like, you want to understand the process of how healthy nourishment is created. You want to understand what loving community feels like. You want to understand how bioenergetics work, why you would even want a sauna space in a climate that's almost 90 degrees every day. Like, it's all available for you here. And part of the mission too is to invite everyone to create your ritual space at home. Like, anywhere I go, I want to experience the energy that we've cultivated here. And there are very clear things from the experiences that I've received throughout the life that are available for that. So, do I want to bring my sauna space firelight with me everywhere I go? Absolutely. Do I want to understand where I can drop into a wellness center so I can access these tools when I travel so that I can continue to remember what it feels like to be living my best life? And if nothing else, guess what? I'm carrying my heart and I'm with the breath, and that's the ultimate tool. And it's it's open contribution for replays for every session that I host online. And if people want to do private work and deeper work, that's what sustains and supports what we're up to. Like, if you want to transform your life, I mean, I came from a place, I found this work having all the material things my inner child ever could have asked for, and I was miserable. And I'm so grateful for my ex-wife Katie for working through this process and being there for me and being a teacher. And Katie, if you're seeing this somewhere, I love you. God bless you for everything that we went through, and for the team that I used to work with in the corporate world. Like, you gave me everything, but I couldn't see an inch in front of me. And now I don't need anything, and I feel like I have access to everything.
Wow, Cashmere. Well, you said that you would love to take your firelight with you everywhere. I feel the same. And you are the light. You are the ultimate light. And I can attest to the fact that, yes, the invite is there, because I got that same invite from Kashmir. And he said, just as he said here on the video, that any experience that you want to experience, there's possibility, realm of possibility. And he'd asked me before we decided we were going to go down and visit earlier this year, what do you want this experience to be? What would you like to call in? And I said, well, and I I sent him, I think, a minute long voice note of all the things.
Four
And
minutes.
4 minutes, yeah, more like it. Yeah, that's more like it. And you did everything that I requested. You aligned everything that I requested to experience. And it also didn't feel rushed. It felt like we were in a portal where time was not moving one way or another.
We were really present, and it seemed like it fast in the blink of an eye, but each moment that we were in there, in that in that state of presence, in that state of not not expecting anything. Each moment seemed to last forever, and you don't have to go to playa. And it's very helpful. The environment there is very conducive to being very present. But it is something that everybody has, the accessible at any place and every moment, and it just takes attention and intention. And so my intention is to join you next Sunday. I actually changed my flight so I could be there on next Sunday. So I intend to be with you guys there and millions of other people. It's a really cool opportunity, and I've never done this before. I've never been aligned in an event of breath work and intention with so many people. So I'm super excited to be there, and we're gonna this can be a collab post, right? So you can go on to connect with Cashmere on there if you want to join us. It's next Sunday, and I just highly encourage it, especially if you've never tried holotropic breathing before, kinetic breathwork, Cashmere style breathwork. It is absolutely amazing, and you're so well taken care of. You just show up and you be there, and everything else like unfolds in such a beautiful way. So just for the opportunity for the breath work, it's going to be phenomenal. But also to be aligned with everybody else, like let's do it. Let's do it.
And let's share Cashmere's code for anyone who's made it this far.
Yeah.
What's
Cashmere, what's your
Sauna Space code so people can save?
Kinetic energy way of living.
Kinetic?
It's not short. And yeah, and I'll post it out there as well, and so that people have access to this beautiful tool and you guys' energy and how this tool represents how you guys show up in the world as lights in your worlds. And I'm so thankful too for you both, for all of the teachers that have come before us. I mean, no matter what you believe, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, like Jason, Mora, Ana Sofia Rodriguez, Leonella, my friend Falk. There's so many of us that are out here doing the work, and I applaud everyone for doing it. And the part of this mission, it's not about bringing attention to necessarily my event. It's about empowering as many facilitators to share. This is the way it gets done. It's about accessing our local connections to continue to radiate this energy out. So thank you both for hosting this and holding this space. And I'm excited to keep inviting in and sharing in all the possibilities for each person through listening. So that's the biggest piece. If you want to create something in your life, I am here to listen, and I know you guys are here listening on how people can access more of themselves through the tools you're sharing out. And we're only creating more. This is just the beginning. Like this moment is always the foundation for the infinite possibilities ahead. So if you can let go of the past, step fully into the unknown, God bless you. We got this.
Thank you so much, Cashmere. We love you, and we're excited to host you here in Florida very soon.
Yeah, we'll see you on Sunday. We're so excited. It's gonna be amazing.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you for coming on, brother.
Thank you. Ciao for now and for now.
Love
Ciao
you.
for now.
Bye.
Bye.